Hello there, it's Alara here from Alara Viral Coaching. Hope you're all having an amazing day. So welcome to part 2 of Making a Meaningful Impact training. So in part 1, we were talking mainly about the 3 essential elements needed for a transformation to work. So those 3 essential elements were separation, marking to your subconscious that something is happening differently, emotional commitment to the whole journey, and a challenge where where all the theory that you learn, you're actually applying it, and you're actually not just leaving it in the theory, but applying it to your life. So this part that I'm going to explain is the part where the transformation actually starts happening, where you start discovering stuff about yourself that is holding you back from stepping into your full potential about making a meaningful impact. And if you're in this group, you're here because you want to make a meaningful impact in the world, I'm guessing, because if you're not, you can go. And if you really, really want to make a meaningful impact, you need to be the truest, most authentic version of yourself. And here's the thing, a lot of the time, there is stuff holding us back from being the most authentic version of ourselves. There's a lot of limiting beliefs, self-doubt, thought patterns, belief patterns that are holding us back from being the most true and authentic version of ourselves. It could be impressing other people. It could be trying to make others happy first. It could be not being good enough. It could be having a money mindset. It could be the fact that you don't think your story is, or the impact that you're making is significant enough. There's so many limiting beliefs. We're amazing at criticizing ourselves. So what I'm going to talk about in part 2 of the training is self-healing. Breaking through those stuff that are holding us back from even being able to discover or even being able to step into our true authentic version of ourselves. And to make a meaningful impact, you need to be able to step into the true authentic version of yourself. So this step is really important, because the reason why it's important is because most of the time we don't even realize that we have beliefs that are holding us back. We don't even realize that we have some internal healing to do that is holding us back from being the best version of ourselves. We feel the consequences of it. We feel the kind of the symptoms of it, which is feeling unfulfilled, losing passion in your work, not feeling like your clients are loyal to you, constantly thinking that nothing is going right. But I'm going to teach you in this video how to actually recognize the belief patterns that are holding you back and what to do about them. So if you are serious about this and you want to you want to step into your full, true, authentic self and make a meaningful impact in the world, then this is an important video. You don't want to miss this one, because a lot of the time we have a focus on the external world, on well, what should I be doing, what, and actually we never do the internal work of working from the inside out, because every interaction that we have with the world is a way of, whether we know it or not, we are expressing what really is going on inside of us. We're expressing our beliefs, we're expressing our thought patterns, whether we realize it or not. Subconsciously, we're constantly oozing out the belief patterns that we have. So if I believe that I'm not worthy of money, no matter how hard I try to get a good job, no matter how hard I try to build up my own business, no matter how hard I try to really build to make my business grow, if I subconsciously believe that I'm not worthy of money, that is what I'm going to be oozing out. That is what all my actions are going to be communicating subconsciously without anyone really realizing. And I'm probably going to face a big problem with actually trying to make money. So this is that's just one example. But so that's kind of the importance of doing the self-healing work. That is why it works and why it needs to be done. So how you actually realize, okay, so what self-healing do I actually need to do, is a different story. So here we go. Sometimes we actually know what what we need to do, what healing needs to do. If I always realize, hey, I'm always shooting myself down, and I've noticed that, good on you, self-awareness, number one. But there are some sneaky limiting beliefs that we've built up from our childhood, really, that that we haven't been able to get rid of, and that's holding us back. So the number one way of noticing what these beliefs are is something called mirroring. So I was explaining about the context of, what we believe, our thought patterns, our belief patterns oozes out into the world. All of our actions communicate those belief patterns, right? So if it's a limiting belief, that it's going to create some limiting situations. And we can use that situation in reverse. So if we're looking at the situations around us and we have a pattern occurring, if we constantly find ourselves in abusive relationships, for example, or if we constantly get the same pattern happening over and over again, for example, if a client keeps on saying, yeah, I want to get your service, and then just backs off afterwards, or if you constantly get to a certain level in it, with a relationship with a prospect, and then they ghost you, for example, or if you get to a certain number of employees, and then all of them get upset and leave. For example, when you start noticing the patterns that are happening in your life, then you can start to turn inwards, and seeing what is it that's causing these patterns. So even though these patterns can point you in the direction of where there might be a blockage, where there might be needing some healing, it doesn't actually tell you exactly what is the belief that I need to change. What is it specifically that I'm telling myself, that subconsciously I'm repeating over and over again to myself, that is causing this situation, right? So the other way that you can use mirroring is in interactions with people. So, when you're talking to someone and you get really pissed off at some things that they say, it just triggers you. You're like, how can you even say that? That's nowhere true. That's not blah. And you can't hold yourself. You can't hold yourself from actually getting cross at them and actually exploding at them, or even if you didn't explode, it really aggravates you. So that's called a trigger. When someone says something that triggers you, that is a huge, huge indicator that there is something that needs healing there. That is a huge indicator. If you have the self-awareness to be able to notice that and not blame it on the other person, is a huge indicator that there is a belief there that is that needs healing. Because if it was a healthy belief, then even if the person said something that contradicted it, it wouldn't act as a trigger. For example, I have brown eyes. I know I have brown eyes. I have a belief that I have brown eyes, and I know it's true. So if someone comes up to me and says, "You have green eyes," I would just say, "No, I don't. I have brown eyes." So I would know that what they're saying is not true, and my, I know in my own heart that my eyes are brown. So the things that you do actually get triggered about are things that your ego is trying to hold on to. You have decided that is a belief that you've decided to hold on to, and and the likelihood is it is neither true or neither helpful. So the action point here is notice what things you reoccurringly get triggered on, and then actually ask yourself, is this belief helpful? And is this belief true? If your answer to those questions are a no, if it's only a no to even one of those questions, is this belief helpful or is this belief true? If I get pissed off every time someone starts talking about politics, or every time someone starts supporting Donald Trump, for example, and I really get pissed off and I can't just let it go, then there's probably some belief around politics or the way Donald Trump works, for example. I know a political example is probably not the best one to give right now, but if I react really strongly, kind of aggressively, internally or externally, I might not actually be aggressive to the person, but if I react really strongly to someone saying that they support Donald Trump, for example, I definitely have a belief there that I need to start working on, because if I don't, I'm going to be projecting that belief out to the world as well. So I'm going to actually be, let's say I hate everyone that has, everyone that supports Donald Trump, and and you know, let's say that the particular bit that I hate is that the fact that he lies, for example. Okay, so when I ask myself, okay, so is this belief helpful or is this belief true? I'm asking myself, is lying always, you know, lying is bad, that is the belief that we're working with. Is lying always helpful? Lying is bad, is this a helpful belief? And is this a true belief? So in that case, actually, I would say that it is helpful and it is true. But you get the picture there. If the answer to those questions is no, then that is a belief that you need to start working on. Which brings me on to how do you work on a freaking belief? So you found something, you found the triggers that, you know, in your areas, you found patterns that keep on repeating themselves over and over again, and you don't know how to break past them, and you've seen the triggers that the things that people do that trigger you, and you've noticed that you have a belief that is not helpful, that is not true. Then you need to replace that belief with a belief that it is true and that it is helpful. The way that beliefs work is it's kind of like a scale. The more evidence you have to support one belief, that's going to be the dominant belief. So this is called confirmation bias. So if I believe that I'm not worthy of money, and that one person that was meant to be my client didn't pay me as well, so that's a rock in that side of the scale saying, yeah, you're not worthy of money. And then someone said, oh, we're way too expensive. You're like, aha, yes, another one in that scale. So you keep on noticing the things that support the belief that you have. So right now, we've noticed that that belief isn't helpful, and we want to start bringing the other belief of I am worthy of money. So how do you shift the scales? The way that you start shifting the scales is actually starting using confirmation bias to your own advantage. So actually finding evidence to support the other one. So this could be actually actively noticing situations where you are worthy of money, where you are receiving money, or it can be repeating this belief over and over again to yourself, because the fact that you mentally repeat this belief over and over again, these are called affirmations, is going to put more and more rocks on that scale, making it more, making that side of the scale heavier, so that actually that's the belief that you start believing in. So that is the gist of this video. Notice what beliefs are holding you back. I don't know if it's happening for you, but my screen has kind of gone like Dorothy Wizard of Oz kind of brown. Anyway, I'll roll with it. What was I saying? I've lost thought of my track. Yeah, so we've gone through why it's important to deal with your own shit because when you're going into actually making a meaningful impact in the world, you don't want to make a meaningful impact in the world while still holding loads of baggage that you're going to start reflecting onto people. So the second thing is, how do you actually start seeing what is holding you back? Look at the patterns that are reoccurring in your life and that kind of seem to be limiting, and look at the things that you're being triggered by. Ask yourself, is this belief helpful? Is this belief true? And if the answer is no, you know that you need to change that belief. You need to replace that belief with a belief that is helpful and with a belief that is true, that is going to help you make a meaningful impact in the world, that is going to help you live in your full potential and be in your authentic self. So you decide on what belief do I want to replace this with, and start to find evidence to support that belief, whether that's actually observing in your life, whether it's actually repeating to yourself over and over again, because both of them, our mind doesn't know the difference between actually hearing someone say you're worthy of money or me repeating to myself you're worthy of money. So that is a kind of summary of this video. I cannot stress enough how important dealing with our own shit is. Our brains like to work like computer programs. Once it's got a belief, once it's got a thinking pattern, it doesn't want to really change it unless you actively do the work to change it. So it is your job to notice that this thinking pattern isn't serving me anymore. If I want to make an impact in the world, if I'm going to start influencing the world in a positive way, then I need to make sure that what I have inside of me that is kind of communicated through all my actions is something positive. I'm not communicating, I'm not influencing the world with the the baggage that I'm still carrying, the shit that I'm still carrying. So take this step seriously. I actually just sold a one-off coaching session for someone that specifically wants to do this part of the journey, because it's something that it can be invisible, and because it's invisible, people underestimate the power of it, the effects of it when it's ignored, and the powerful effects of it when you actually deal with it and heal and open up, allow yourself to become, upgrade the computer programs, the belief programs that are running in your mind, so that they actually support where you want to go on this journey, which is stepping into your true authentic self, discovering how you're going to make an impact in the world and making a meaningful impact in the world, reaching your highest potential. So I'm going to leave this video here. If you have any questions, let me know. Take care.